I won't lose.
This is Master 347 for the final part of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, which should be the final part anyway. I can't see them putting this into 3 parts. And yep, so yeah, I guess this is the final part of the trial. Let's see, Rise from the Ashes, it's the final day, trial letter. Yeah, that usually means the last part. Yeah. So let's solve this thing once and for all. Ooh, 12 o'clock, eh? Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Oh, we're not into anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Oh, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal. Making it run all around while on duty. On top of it, you called me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if it was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Ninja was talking about this just the other day. I'm sure you know the 2 rules of evidence law, don't you, Wright? Rule number 1, no evidence shall be assuring without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You can at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him? I guess I need to give this book a thorough read. You can if you want to, but since I have an FAQ, I don't need to. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is a chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility has been all but ruined with this false evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, detective. Nile didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. You got that right, Phoenix. You got that right. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Donna Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls for a witness, but, this isn't news to say. You see, there is some concern that Mr. Edgeworth may have, struck a bargain? You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's never been a case example. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It will prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable! Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, the trial is over. The defense calls I finally couldn't bring out the real murderer. Okay, now, who you actually do need to call is, Damon Gaunt. That's the person you need to call out. Damon Gaunt. The defense calls Damon Gaunt to the stand. Damon Gaunt? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gaunt has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I fear we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gaunt to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir? Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation! So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gaunt. Fine. My name is Damon Gaunt and I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gaunt, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SO9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Nana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. SO9 incident. Oh my god. Let's see how you weasel out of this one. As I recall, Neo and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. Oh, thanks for reminding us, game. I never sent Neo flying. It seemed Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clean cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. Okay, you need to present some evidence, but on the last statement. But I'm going to press everything else first, until I get to the last statement about the forgery thing. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Then yes, that's right, I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning this award, Neo was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Sky also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark went for it. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neo and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neo was when that knife went to his heart, though. That's not funny. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neo and that serial killer was lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Doc was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lala and Emma. Lala was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body! It had already been moved! So that means... You found the body near Lana's desk? That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. But anyway... Okay, this is why I need to present evidence. You need to present the unstable jar. Final fragment found in Chief Gaunt's safe. Yes, forgery. This is pretty obvious. The fragment was found in Chief Gaunt's safe. So this is proof enough that it was the forgery.
Objection!
You claim you had nothing to do with that forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gaunt, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the investigation! Chief Gaunt! Well, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit it, that you were involved in a forgery? Who, me? What do you mean, you? Me? Oh, that had nothing to do with that. Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, though. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't it right, White? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary dropped any further, he ends up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place in the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Evidence and forgery. Let's see. What was it now? A jar of fragments and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Doc was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. White? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Oh, indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Archie. In return, no. I know. That place, right? What are these guys? What, are these guys telepathic? Okay, you just need to press the last statement, but since I'm going to press all the statements anyway, I'll eventually get to it. I appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you could have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I have you know, back in the day I once broke into a castle ranch and tipped. What's that right? What are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry any evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when your fingerprints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove your investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, Mr. Wright. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. Are you saying this jar of fingerprint wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after the dog was sentenced. Oh, then wouldn't that be wouldn't be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however, clever as they may be, won't succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Mr. Wright. Think about it. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember, who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Zebra Sky. Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Guard? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you aped from this. I'm sorry, the benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is it, a benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh, the resolution of the S&I incident secured your promotion to Chief. That is in itself a sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of S&I merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Gah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Webby. You know me better than that. There's only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and me, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Energy, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. Now, I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. And you also need to press this newest statement. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Nana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Revy. Could there have been something in it for you? Given his selfishness, could he have helped someone out? Oh, say point out accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. White, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well, I'll ask. Who is this person you believe Chief Guard may have helped forge evidence? Okay, point to Lana Sky, because remember that suddenly she became the chief prosecutor because of Gant. So that's the only reasonable connection there is. So yeah, it's choose Lana as in Lana Sky. Chief prosecutor Lana Sky? The defendant? I believe it was quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. The reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SNI incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor to the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use this prosecutor as a puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait, you mean puppets as in someone forced to do his bidding? Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted on a Sky in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Right, oh my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I control Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana... She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'll testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! I said order! Mr. White, you can't be serious! Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in that law enforcement agency to accuse the Chief of Police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible! Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. White. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. White? That the Chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Show us this evidence that tied Chief Gant's murder to good. Just remember, it better be good. Okay then. You need to present the ID card record. Remember that the safe was the same combination as that ID number. The safe which belonged to Damon Gant. That's your evidence. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. All those sevens. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gunn's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7-digit? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was... all those sevens. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gunn! You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime! Order! Order! Chief Gunn! What do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I would demand, Mr. Wright, will be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Gee, God! So you admit it? You entered the evidence room? On the day of the crime? What about it? I'm the chief of police. There is no evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go in there if I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I will always go to the bathroom alone, so as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodwin had happened to be with you that day, was he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him? In days, Chief Gaunt? I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lionel Skyler's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gaunt met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gaunt on the day of the crime. Okay, you need to present Goodman's lost item report. Remember that Goodman lost his ID card. So, think about it, he lost his ID card, so it could be theorized that Damon Gaunt might have gone in first, might have gone in with Goodman because he couldn't go in alone. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yes, you are in possession of the report. Which means you can't be sure if he filled it. He filled it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gaunt. Then, you accompanied Detective to the evidence room. Accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered Paul Goodwin? Exactly. But wait, the Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort.
Objection!
Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once, but you showed us your ID card earlier. We had really lent it to Detective Goodman. It would have been found on his body. No! Chief Gaunt, you didn't! The murder was most likely committed on the spur of the moment. No one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why else? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body.
Objection!
However, the victim's body body was disclosed in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was in the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gaunt, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gaunt used this. Okay, now what he says by useless piece of evidence is the screwdriver. It's true. This seemed completely useless before. What sense did this make? I mean, it was from a past case that's somewhere else, and yeah, this is a useless evidence that he used.
Take that!
This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? But what does he have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. Why was this screwdriver doing here? It's here because... I wasn't asked to go by Chief Gaunt, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it at the prosecutor's office. In case on the day of the ceremony, I brought this back to the prosecutor's office. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gaunt asked you to. You mean I... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to carry evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lara Sky. Order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk of it to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gaunt, please say something. I believe. Your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Whitehill, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. I have to get going if we're to make it time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier. A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually evoked. There are certain risks we are considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Levy. I stabbed old Goodman? That's what you're saying, right? But if I had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had lied to dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I say it again, Mr. Wright. David Gaunt is in the code. It is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusation against him without concrete proof. Oh, Mr. Wright. Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gaunt murdered Detective Goodman made Miss Sky dispose of his body. Do you have any concrete proof? Actually, now this is crazy. For the very first time, and the only time for this entire game, you actually say no. I have no proof yet. No, seriously, that is what you do. If you say present evidence, and whatever you present is going to be wrong, and you will be penalized for it. Say I have no proof yet. Just say that, trust me. It's no use showing evidence, and I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor, at present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Edgy. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegation against the chief. What? No, don't gamble unless the stakes are high. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Edgy, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a sea officer of the nation's law enforcement agency. What? Lady Luck? Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth? What do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gunn has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls for... Okay, now you do need to call. You need to call Lana Sky. Yeah, she is the only person who really knows the truth. That is the only person.
Take that!
Defendant? Miss Lana Sky? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final witness for the day. In 50 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on! Huh? Chief Guard? I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claim, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you never supported outrageous claims anyway. Right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay. If there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Looks like we've managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. The chief. He's something else. Eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe? I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-notch girl you used to work with. Kathleen! Mayor? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Khan's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair. He has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Remember when the judge said. But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What do we mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything to? No man, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to you, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief God's orders, she must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blame yourself now. If you don't want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief God may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth, let's go, Bite. It's time to end this. Oh, god damn it! It is free barter! Oh, what? Okay. Dang, it is a free parter. You know what? No, fuck that. We're doing it to the end. I said that last time was the final part. I am doing the final part. I just need to make a few alterations. I think you're probably wondering what that sound was. That's just me bending the paper over so that I can see what facts to look into, to not get confused. Yeah, screw that. We're going all the way through the end. God's sakes, episode 5, stop drawing this damn thing out! Okay, yeah. I'll save, just in case I might somehow screw up. But we're continuing on with this part. You can stop now if you want, folks, but no, I'm carrying on. Jesus. Come on. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand? Miss Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But, Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide a call with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you are under oath. You want to hear the truth? Of course. The truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Gaunt. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gaunt. Gaunt and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gaunt for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated evidence 2 years ago, all by myself. When I found Mr. Marshall's body, I arranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with him. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I confessed to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gunn had nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. White, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Okay, what you need to press is the part where she said she arranged the crime scene. But I'm going to press everything else anyway until I get to that. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Guns and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. she must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Grant was a respectable detective, that's why. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. White? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And... did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister always became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. So that's why you fabricated evidence 2 years ago? That's why you need to present. You said I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor war knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. White, but I never changed this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up killing Doc? Being killed by Doc? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Doc was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. He's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. Or just to protect me. So when you found a scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the room, then moved the body. It also needs to present this new statement that she's added. Once you press that, then you should be alright. You planted the tip of the Dark's knife in the victim's body, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Okay, what you need to say here is, why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gunstone. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Okay, this is what I need to present. Now it's another new statement, but this time you don't press this one, you present. You need to present the unstable jar. Yes, yet again, when she says this, this other new statement about the pieces of the jar.
Objection!
Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been useless. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified that, and I quote, the pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written this in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write this message in the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. You couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you were as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we are headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We're pieced together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in that room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away this message in blood? I wasn't Chief Prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Okay, now, let's see. I remember there, well, I don't need to present anything. It's something like this book. Evidence law. That's not it. Huh? Oh, really? No, that's not it. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause again. So sorry about this, folks. Okay, I got it. Once again, I just forgot to put that in. Oh, okay. The documentary said she's sure she got all the pieces. You need to resent the unstable jar once again. We're gonna print all the statements first. So the jar was already broken? It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. But not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You are an ex-detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. No, you'd do that for me? Seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you would have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? No. I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather the pieces. Okay, yeah, no, it just looked like the fragments were large, so I'm sure she got them all. You need to send the unstable jar once again.
Objection!
Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals the truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gaunt's safe. In Chief's safe? But how? I knew it! She really did know! There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gaunt got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed the piece?
Objection!
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth for long. Can you believe that?
Objection!
Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that... There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person is skilled at the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying that this person was Chief Gaunt at the time he was looking, or dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was dead first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here! Damon Gaunt arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication. But why would Chief Gaunt do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear what happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gaunt's aid. Lending her his aid, Gaunt helped her create evidence that incriminated Dar, sparing Emma, and here is the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to attend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gaunt's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. White? Lana, maybe White after all. What do you mean, White? So you do tell foul lies on Mr. White? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This causation may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will. If you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more, for the final time. Actual crime scene. Just in case, sir, I'm going to check to see if I miss anything. I do not want to make any same mistakes again. I'll be back in a bit, folks. Okay. I'm alright. I just wanted to check, folks. Whew. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled in that suit of armor sword. Emma and Doug were lying conscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Guard help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled in the armor sword? You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember we seeing a picture like that. I must have known. See, Mr. White, she really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. White. You to rent this picture. I don't remember receiving any picture from Nana. Nana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Alright, yeah, remember the evidence book? Well, there's a secret hidden in it. We need to check out the evidence... Oh, whoops. What's that one? The evidence law. And, go to check. Alright then. We need to do here... You need to examine the book, then check the back. See? The picture right there. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh, God. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. That's because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I rearranged the scene. Ah. Oh, Mr. White. That piece cut off from his vest. Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Guard's safe? What's this? It's a handprint. That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever their fingerprints those must be, near the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints... They're yours, Emma! Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. White? Anyway, let's get on with the false examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its false examination. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Martin impaled in the suit. Oh. What the? This is new. Come now, Reggie. This is the poorest excuse for a job I've ever seen. Chief Guard. What now? You want to make out as a bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined testimony. That means you're forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the wrist the judge was talking about. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of noose tightening around your own neck. Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone? So then, what's your excuse, Whiteo? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? Do you have something to show us, White? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room of doubt? Is this true, Mr. White? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma shows me made out as the murderer. Mr. White, if you have any more evidence, present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I'd better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Marshall? Actually, say, cannot show evidence. Say that, if you say show evidence, then Emma will be found guilty and you will get an automatic game over. Do not show evidence. Say cannot show evidence. Say that. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief Guard, you opened my safe! I know you took what was inside! The conclusive evidence! I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. White, why don't you show me? We found it together. Oh, I see. Because you know the truth, don't you? You know those fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about? Chief Guard? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the vest area? It looks like part of it's been cut off for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you'd had the gall, Lido. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? You admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the claim lay with her sister, then when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Scott. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip at the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using the evidence to get Joe Dog convicted. When we arranged the crime scene, I had 2 pieces of evidence. I did this before Lana arrived at the scene. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those 2 items in the safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't allowed to let anyone blame me for the murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? Who do you take me for? A fool? You didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hit the most illegible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept 1 more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Mito. Cover it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. White? So you admitted, Chief Guard, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do all that being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. White, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, White. You could have shown it, and before it was too late. It's been a long battle, but the moment of truth hasn't finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Okay, now this time, you need to show evidence. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see the conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Okay, this time you need to actually show the cloth. When you show it before, then she would automatically be guilty. But since he admitted to hiding the evidence, to use that as well, so this time show the cloth. We need to do it this time after Chief Gant openly admits that he was hiding evidence and fabricating it. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut off this piece of victim's vest. Oh yes, at last he finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that we immediately send it to be lab for analysis. There's a handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact to be left so clearly. You mean? It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? You fingerprint? Why have I had all this time to present this evidence? Yet he wasn't looking to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. White, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person who these fingerprints belong to are... Okay, now you say Emma Sky. You said Emma Sky before, then she would automatically be guilty and all that. Before this whole thing, but like I said, Narragansett actually confessed that he was fabricating evidence and hiding pieces of it. Now you can say Emma Sky. Believe me, this will work.
Take that!
Emma? Emma Sky? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? You're really something, White. You knew this guilt is all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic but true. This girl really did show the Marshal to his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Sky, you knew those fingerprints. Those were all along, yet you acted like you didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Well, I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You have purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defense is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter, cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into their murderer. Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gaunt, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. White, this piece of cloth. What can it possibly contradict? Chief Gaunt, you tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts the cloth. Okay, now remember the picture we found in the evidence law book? Lana's picture? This is what she presents.
Take that!
And what exactly is it supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his cloth vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood in his vest. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it! Ah! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on a sword! No! This is nonsense! Now then, Chief Gaunt, let me ask you something! Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Sky? picks up the unconscious prosecutor and impales him on the armor's sword. Then, to make it look like Anna was responsible for the prosecutor's crime, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. Then he broke the jar on purpose to leave behind a clue. And McLaren believed her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of collecting insurance, you prove that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finished. Oh, Ryder. What's happening? Sorry, but you have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. Do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence! Order! Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Reggie. Earlier, old White over here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, White? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I do not have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth seems to be legal evidence. But that's not fair! Oh, did you actually think you could beat best me in court? It looks like the last lap's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Khan's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, true. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. White? It seems, at last, the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. White, do you admit to it? That you purposely and legally concealed this evidence? Say I did not. Certainly, I refused to present evidence at one point. So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean, you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved in presenting evidence. No, those are his lies. He's nothing but a coward. There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well. Settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Present the last piece of evidence to get rid of this monster once and for all is evidence law.
Take that!
This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sly's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book, the second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule 2, unrelated evidence presented must be relevant to the case in trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the S9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and...
Objection!
Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No! He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gaunt. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out a piece of the victim's ass. Oh yes. No. It was then you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final words. In other words, the real murder. And there's only one person who could... that could be... Oh my god! The killer was you! No, no. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That ghost-of scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around his apartment, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. No, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Star, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll use my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Goodman turned him down. As he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden he had to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He told me to open up the evidence room and take it out. It's not too late. I'll hand this to Marshall. Well, to be honest, I was a little panicked too. I had a bad feeling about it. I never knew it would come to this. That's when I saw it. The accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. You would only increase the amount of blood, and you couldn't finish what you started. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I was wiping it up. I was worrying so much about the flow, I didn't realize my mistake. Detective Gumshoes. Bloody handprint. I used to be known as a crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car? I'm sorry. We couldn't think of any other way to move the body. You broke the trunk, but what's the big deal? You pulled down a lot more than us detectives. What does this have to do with anything? You're horrible! How could you get Miss Guy involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to do as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence and took the Gibbons locker? I feel bad for having to do it. I can't sit around and pick and choose what to take. Well, you left the jar flap in the gloves. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crime than the committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, what are you doing in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. If you want to take them on alone, you'll figure out what's needed. Well, Looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Reggie. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, David. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example on others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. These days are gone now, Reggie. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you'll have Whiter here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. You see, if I listen carefully, I can hear it right now. The sound of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon God betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Grant help me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, a few years from now, you just might make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. White, Miss Sky, and to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an idea it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you, and yet you rose above it all and guided Mr. White to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems as good as self-examining is in order for all this. Miss Sky. Yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact that you still acted as an accomplice, a trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already, regarding the charge of murder. This court now finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty. That is all. The court is adjourned. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fay thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. White. And to you too, Miss Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm going to work anything. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Good, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making the one old man on duty on top of it. Are you coming here? I've seen how many people at funerals. Hey, tighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came here today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Should he be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked God to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you would act if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have? Oh, Emma. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is try to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find a way back to our path. And once we find our path, we can move on from our past mistakes towards a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt looking at those two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe, me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right? Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't change my own mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth, not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gaunt was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. If you want to take them on alone, you'll figure out what's needed. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime alone, one needs a weapon. It's scary, but I've been thinking the same thing for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows, given enough time I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gaunt did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gaunt and your mentor Manfred von Karma were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime alone, one needs a weapon. That may be right. But think back to the day's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show me what Lauren's talking about. Evidence? That neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find out on our own? Wait, what? Oh, god damn it, really? Do it again. I'll be back in a bit, folks. Oh, okay, now I feel stupid. Yeah, it's the evidence list. That's what we need to show. Remember that he had one half of the evidence list and you had the other, but by helping each other, combining it, we were able to solve the case. So it's the evidence list. That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. Apart, you wouldn't have been able to restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth? If you excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth! What will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, what happens in this trial can either make or break you as a prosecutor. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, Wright. But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I better be getting back to you. Okay, I'll come visit you. It seems we both still have a lot to learn. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith in that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, maybe okay with me, but the folks in the prison are a different story. Basically, I had to bribe a guy in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, but you see, Mr. Wright here is the one who'd be footing the bill. What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream? Since we're here, why don't we all go together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. I arranged for a friend of mine and you to take care of Emma. She's a coroner. I think Emma will be pleased. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I managed to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crime together with Emma. No, blows away its own. That's pretty cool. Yikes! I thought I was a god for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my authority investigation in the chief's office. If we penalize you in any more, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. And this is it, folks, the ending. Last part now. This is going to be pretty long. But yeah, I felt like I had to end it now. It felt like 3 parts, really. No to that. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe that? Lord, I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yeah, there I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe. In a way, that thing did save the day. What the?
What is it? Can you see I'm having my showdown with a steak lunch today, partner? Miss Starman is a secret recipe. She's seeing one of the gods scenes. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Vampina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get that water?
I like the way you did the credits there. Nice touch, game.
Looks like we will be seeing each other for a while.
As for a farewell gift, I put new meal in the menu. The white ray lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. By the way, that text is moving on its own, so I'm not pressing it if you're curious about it.
I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again?
Mr. Left! Anyway, he said he'd been doing something or other for, how many years? Oh, anyway, I've never tried to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel! Sorry, gotta go! Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing Nick and his objections, so I can't go back until I have a full-fledged spirit meeting. Mayor, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming? Well, see you around, Nick. It's good to have Mayor in appearance there. So you can see the way in the temple. Awesome.
Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth? I brought you your tea. What's going on?
What was that letter about?
Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. White. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book.
Just how I look at the book then?
is a very nice place here. And with that, that is the end of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the first game for the DS. And with that game, the game is now complete. And I'd like to say a thank you for everyone who is watching this playthrough. But I won't be doing anything with live commentary for quite a while, because I really want to do my studies and stuff like that, and I'd rather do a game which I can do anytime, and not a game just do during the night, where everyone else is see when I do my live commentary. So I won't be doing live commentary for quite a long time. Very rarely, maybe I'll be doing it some of the time with my friend Freezeblow when he's when I'm doing it with Skype, when I'm doing his co-op with live commentary with the Sacred Stones. I'll definitely be continuing with that from time to time. But with live commentary with my videos, not so much. Not for a really long time. No. I'm going to do it for quite a while, because I really want to catch all my stories and stuff. And like I said, I'd rather do a game which I can just pick up and do during the day as well. And then like, maybe study during the night or something, or maybe study during the day and play during the night, anytime. So, plus the game will be complete a lot quicker that way. So just having to be at night. That's why there's only like mostly one video a day. And not like multiple. So you might see a whole rapid of videos soon. Maybe. Because I might be doing a lot of bossmans or RPGs, or maybe some good old platformers. Yep, a lot of nice things coming this way. But with that, with this game completed, this is Maximum 347. Games for Titan RPG the platformer. Stay classy.